On the Global TV News Prime, Senate passes Tinubu's tax bills. In business, GEMCOs demand dates to meet Tinubu over 4.7 trillion naira debt on the foreign scene. Negotiators says U.S. halting ceasefire deal does not include Israel. In sport, Xabi Alonso ready to sign Super Eagles striker for Real Madrid. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime and Global Television coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. My name is Godwin Sunday. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcasts. To the news and details. The leadership of the Nigerian Senate has scheduled President Bola Tinubu's tax reform for proper scrutiny and debate. The Senate has passed two of the four tax reform bills proposed by President Bola Tinubu. The two bills passed are the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bills and Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bills. These bills were passed after the senators reviewed the report of an ad hoc committee chaired by Niger East Senator Sani Musa. The committee was constituted to address controversies and disputes surrounding the proposed reforms. On Wednesday, each clause of the bills were debated and considered at the Committee of the Whole. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced passage of the bills after a majority of the senators supported them through a voice vote. Senator representing Kano South Ismaila Kawu has defected from the new Nigerian People's Party NNPP to the ruling All Progressive Congress APC. The letter of his defection was read by the Nigerian Senate President Godswill Obot Akpabio during plenary. Ramsey Enoch Agbo has the details.
President of the Senate Godswill Akpabio congratulated Kawu for taking the decision to join the ruling party, describing the move as a bold and brilliant step. Akpabio also encouraged his colleagues from other political parties to join the APC to move the country forward in the interest of Nigerians.
My decision to bid goodbye to the NNPP is anchored on compelling and undeniable developments within the party, which have rendered the party severely divided and dysfunctional. Over the past months, I have observed a growing number of litigations that have practically torn the party apart. Therefore, in the spirit of democratic accountability and in line with my constitutional right, I have moved to the All Progressives Congress.
Raising a point of order, Senator Kawu says the reason for his defection includes numerous court cases plaguing the party, thereby creating division among members.
Three cogent region, which I want, and I am sending it to true lovers of democracy, more particularly my constituents. It is a constitutional representation. I am representing people, and they are looking up to me to bring something better and to do something better. Three areas. So all politics is local. As we start this work here in June 2003, I have almost 5 motions, which are to do with the interest of Kano people, Nigeria, and of course my constituents.
Kawu called on the Senate President to ensure the notification is entered into the Senate's record for necessary legislative action. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The Labour Party has launched a disciplinary investigation into former National Chairman Julius Abure as part of sweeping reforms following a Supreme Court ruling that upheld his removal from office. A newly constituted disciplinary committee chaired by Senator Ireti Kindibe has been tasked with investigating serious allegations against Abure, including corruption, forgery, perjury, and criminal conspiracy. Samuel Odi completes the story. A wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has commissioned a 100-bed mother and child center in Awo Omama, Oru East local government area of Imo State, represented by the wife of the vice president, Ajia Nana Shetima. The First Lady visit is part of the federal government's drive to improve maternal and child health care under the Sustainable Development Goals Program. Amarachi Ibe reports.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, continues to champion the welfare of women and children across the country. In Imo State, her name now graces a new 100-bed mother and child center, built in Awam Mama under the SDG initiative. Representing the First Lady at the commissioning was Hajiya Nana Shetima, wife of the Vice President, who emphasized the center's importance in addressing maternal and child health challenges in rural communities.
We must continue to emphasize the vital importance of maternal health care in building a healthier society. I therefore urge our women and members of this community to take this advantage of the services available at this mother and child center. I also charge you to take ownership of this center. It is for your benefits and the welfare of your children.
Speaking at the event, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says the naming of the center after the First Lady is a tribute to her tireless service to women and vulnerable groups nationwide. He added that the facility aligns with ongoing state-led health reforms, including the renovation of 305 primary health centers in collaboration with the World Bank, deployment of mobile clinic, and revitalization of general hospitals and teaching institutions across Imo State.
Our administration is deeply committed to reducing maternal and child mortality linked to inadequate facilities and healthcare assets. This new hospital directly supports that mission and expands the reach of modern healthcare in our state. Having personally visited the site ahead of this event, I can attest that this hospital was delivered to specification, equipped with modern medical technology, and ready to serve.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, Princess Adejoke Olarope, explained that the project is one of the several initiatives being implemented across Nigeria under the Sustainable Development Goal 3, which focuses on good health and well-being.
And promises made by your reliable, responsible, and responsive President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who believes that no woman should die or no child should die when giving birth. Women is vessel of life and should be protected and preserved.
With the commissioning of the Senator Oluremi Tinubu Mother and Child Center, Awam Mama becomes a critical part of Imo's growing health infrastructure dedicated to safe motherhood and child survival. From Awam Mama in Oru East local government area, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
The representative has directed the Committee on Healthcare Services to work with the Federal Ministry of Health and other relevant agencies to create a framework for subsidizing cancer treatment and drugs in Nigeria. They also called for more treatment centers, additional radiation therapy machines, and free nationwide cancer screening programs. Uyi Abwomofuegbe completes the story. The House of Representatives has passed for a second reading a bill seeking to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act. The amendment aims to expand the Council's mandate by establishing specialized training institutions across the country to boost agricultural productivity and ensure innovation reaches rural areas. Leading the debate on its general principle at the plenary, Kalu emphasized that agriculture remains a vital part of Nigerians' economy, contributing significantly to rural development, job creation, food security, and national GDP. The Benue State government has condemned the act of what it described as a calculated campaign of sponsored protests and misinformation allegedly aimed at destabilizing the state and discrediting the administration of Governor Hyacinthe Alia. Addressing the media, the chief press secretary to the governor, Teso Kula, said the recent protests held in Abuja supposedly in the interest of Benue citizens were orchestrated by disgruntled political actors with the aim of manipulating public opinions and triggering a state of emergency. Our correspondent, Felicity Ndere, has the details.
Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Benue State, Sir Teso Kula, accused the organizers of attempting to weaponize the legal profession, alleging that ex-convicts were paraded as lawyers and while unregistered groups submitted false and offensive petition to the National Assembly. He described the action as a direct assault on the integrity of the legal system and called on the Nigerian Bar Association to act swiftly against impersonators and unethical practices.
These demonstrations are not organic expressions of public sentiments, but rather calculated attempts by disgruntled elements to settle personal scores and advance a malicious agenda. These individuals, driven by a desperate desire to paint Benue in the worst possible light, appear to believe that by doing so, they can somehow force the hand of President Ahmed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in Benue State. This misguided notion stems from a deep-seated aversion to positive change and a yearning for a return to a discredited status quo. Their ultimate goal, it seems, is to create an environment of chaos and instability, allowing them to exploit the situation for their own selfish gains as usual. They are driven by desperate desire to remove Governor Hyacinthe Alia from office, but they will not succeed. The people of Benue State are united in their support for their governor.
Reaffirming the government's commitment to peace, development, and good governance, Kula stressed that no amount of propaganda will deviate the administration's vision for a better Benue.
The traditional ruler of Karishi Chiefdom in Abuja, His Royal Highness Alhaji Ismaila Muhammad, has called for urgent constitutional reforms to grant the Federal Capital Territory FCT greater senatorial representation and additional area councils. He argued that despite the FCT's large population and vast landmass, its political representation remains minimal and inadequate. The monarch made the call in Abuja during the inauguration of a radio and television studio, a new digital broadcasting platform set up to promote civic engagement, democracy, and human rights. Retired military generals have again called on the federal government to urgently equip the Nigerian armed forces amid growing concerns over the resurgence of terrorist attacks and killings in the Northeast. This comes as the House of Representatives expressed deep concerns over the recent deadly attacks on a military facility in Giwa, Borno State, describing the incident as a glaring indicator that Boko Haram insurgents are better armed than the Nigerian military. During the plenary, the lawmakers lamented the gradual return of the terrorist group and the loss of life in recent times in Boko in Borno State and neighboring communities, and such as Yobe, Gombe, and other parts of the Northeast. The United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and the Director General of the Northwest Governors Forum, in collaboration with the state governments, is collaborating to work out a framework that will promote peace and stability in the northwestern region of Nigeria. The Director General of the Northwest Governors Forum, Miriam Yahya, and representative of the United Nations Development Programme, Kadara Ahmed, paid a courtesy visit to the governor of Zamfara State, Lawal Dauda, to further brainstorm on how to address the insecurity situation in the region. Kabil Asen completes the story.
The Northwest Forum has been plagued with several development challenges such as banditry, out-of-school children roaming the street, youth unemployment, poverty, and battered economy, among others. The visit to Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, by the leadership of the UNDP and the Director General of the Northwest Governors Forum is part of the ongoing effort to implement resolutions reached at the last year's Regional Summit on Peace and Development. The Director General Northwest Governors Forum says the focus of the meeting is to establish a Northwest Peace and Development Forum that will serve as a unifying platform to address the challenges confronting the region.
Also remember that you said what you wanted is a framework that will facilitate the development of a long-lasting intra- and interstate government structure that will strengthen regional stability, promote economic prosperity and opportunity, and provide social protection for your citizens. This is a very laudable initiative. You also wanted this framework to serve as an entry point for federal and international actors, including from within the UN system, to support the insecurity and development issues facing the Northwest. Like our DG said, we are very pleased to say that we have started this important work, and Zamfara State is the 5th state that we visited in trying to do this. What we believe is that securing the Northwest, ushering peace, development, and prosperity requires trust and partnerships among stakeholders.
Also speaking during the visit, UNDP team lead Kadria Ahmad highlighted the importance of regional cooperation in achieving long-term stability. She explained that the collaboration seeks to boost economic prosperity, social development, and security across the Northwest.
So far, so good, I must say. We're doing a job with our team, and we have been able to get a lot of feedback from traditional rulers, community members, religious leaders, farmers, and different groups, women, catchwomen, and all of that. And we would like, with your support, Your Excellency, to have a similar engagement with a few commissioners here present. Mostly, we might even have to take all of them, because what we have realized so far from all our engagements is that this framework is all-encompassing across all sectors. But primarily, we would like to have an engagement with the commissioners of budget and planning, human affairs, youth, home and internal security, and agriculture, yes, as well. So, based on all of this, I would like to hand over the more technical bit of this to Ms. Valeria Ahmed here with me today, and also thank you and your colleagues for coming together to drive regional development. This will enable us manage our resources better and drive sustainable development in the northwestern part of Nigeria. Thank you all.
In his response, Governor Dauda Lawal commended the initiative and expressed his administration's full support. He described Zamfara as the epicenter of insecurity in the region and emphasizes that solving the state's security problems will significantly ease the situation in the entire Northwest.
And I'm happy to say that we have this team that are up and about doing whatever is humanly possible to address these challenges we are facing. And I keep saying Zamfara is key to the success of whatever we do here. I made it very clear that all the crisis that is happening in Northwest, Zamfara State happens to be at the center. Now, if we're able to get it right in Zamfara, honestly, 75% of the challenges will be over.
The UNDP-led delegation has so far visited 5 states in the region in Zamfara. The meeting concluded with a renewed commitment from all parties to sustain the momentum and ensure that the proposed peace and development framework translates into tangible benefit for the people of the Northwest. Hassan Kabir reporting for Global TV.
In business, electricity generation companies want President Tinubu to extend the plan of meeting with the firms over the 4.7 trillion naira power sector debt to the GenCos. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Power Generation Companies, Joy Ogaji, expressed caution's optimism over the promise that the federal government would pay that debt, while saying there is no date fixed for the meeting yet. President Bola Tinubu has submitted the 2025 Federal Capital Territory Budget proposed to the House of Representatives. The president later read by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, at Tuesday plenary proposed 1.78 trillion naira in total spending for the FCT. Sharon Ajay has the rest of the story.
The Speaker House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says 85% of the capital budget is allocated to ongoing projects with 15% for new initiatives. Key focus areas include healthcare, job creation, education, social welfare, and agriculture.
Of 1,783,823,708,392 naira is proposed for the year 2025. As such, 85% of the capital expenditure is dedicated to the completion of ongoing projects, while 15% is for new capital projects, so as to sustain ongoing efforts at providing basic infrastructure and social amenities in the FCT.
Meanwhile, the Speaker also raised an alert over forecasts predicting severe flooding in over 30 states this rainy season. He urged relevant committees to work with the executive on emergency plans and climate resilience strategies. On national security, Abbas condemned recent attacks in Borno, Plateau, Benue, and Kwara states, calling for justice and stronger preventive measures.
Environmental forecasts indicate that over 30 states face severe flooding during the upcoming rainy season. In anticipation, I call on all relevant committees of the House to work with the executive branch to review the country's emergency preparedness, propose mitigation strategies, and provide oversight over legislative frameworks on disaster risk management and climate resilience.
The House resumed sitting Tuesday after a 5-week recess. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
On the foreign scene, India and Pakistan exchanged fire across the line of control between Indian and Pakistan-administered Kashmir after India launched Operation Sindoor. Pakistan says Indian missile attacks on the Punjab province and Pakistan-administered Kashmir killed at least 8 people and wounded more than 35. Indian officials say at least 10 have been killed and more wounded in Indian-administered Kashmir due to the Pakistan fire. India says its attack hit terror training sites. Pakistan says mosques and civilians were struck, killing it at the act of war, calling it an act of war and promising a robust response. Even within that region in the Asia of the world. And in sport, Bayern Leverkusen manager Xabi Alonso is believed to be drawing up a transfer wish list as he prepares to join Real Madrid this summer. Alonso has included Super Eagles striker Victor Boniface among his possible targets. The former Spain midfielder is widely tipped to succeed Carlo Ancelotti at the Bernabeu next season. And as Global TV News Prime comes to an end, here is a top story making the round this evening. The leadership of the Nigerian Senate says it has scheduled President Bola Tinubu's tax reforms bills for proper scrutiny and debate. Electricity generation companies want President Bola Tinubu to hasten the plan of meeting with the firms over the 4.7 trillion naira power sector debt to the GenCos. And on the foreign side, the Iran airline Houthis in Yemen, Houthi says a ceasefire deal between the group and the United States does not include sparing Israel from operations, suggesting that shipping attacks that disrupted global trade would not come to a complete halt. And in sport, the two finalists for this year's Champions League will be determined by Wednesday's night. And that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcasts. I am Godwin Sunday. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.